Most people never realize that one small daily behavior can quietly shut down belly fat loss no matter how hard they try. And that is exactly why progress feels slow, frustrating, or completely stuck even after weeks of effort. This video is a warning, but it is also a relief because the problem is not your motivation, your genetics, or your discipline. The real issue is a single mistake that keeps sending the wrong signals to your body, forcing it to protect belly fat instead of burning it. When this signal stays active, your body treats belly fat like a safety reserve, not excess weight, and every workout and diet feels less effective than it should. In the next few minutes, you will learn what this mistake is, why it affects belly fat more than any other area, and how it quietly overrides good intentions. This is not common advice you hear every day, and that is why most people never fix it. The body does not store fat randomly, especially around the waist. Belly fat responds strongly to hormones, stress signals, and energy timing, not just calories. When the wrong habit is repeated daily, the body shifts into protection mode, slowing fat release and increasing cravings, even when food choices look clean on the surface. Many people blame age, metabolism, or lack of willpower, but the truth is far more precise. The body follows instructions, and this mistake gives it the wrong ones again and again. What makes this dangerous is that it feels productive, it feels like effort, it feels like discipline, but internally it creates the exact conditions that make belly fat harder to lose. This video will break down what is actually happening inside your body in clear language, without confusion or complicated science, so you can finally understand why results have been inconsistent. You will also learn a simple correction that does not require extreme dieting, endless cardio, or cutting out everything you enjoy. This correction changes the signal your body receives, allowing it to release stored fat instead of guarding it. Near the end of this video, you will also learn why many popular fat loss strategies accidentally make this mistake worse, and how avoiding it can make everything else you already do work better. This is not about adding more effort, it is about removing one hidden block. By the time you reach the end, you will see belly fat in a completely different way, and you will know exactly what to stop doing if you want real progress to begin. Stay until the last minute because the final insight ties everything together and explains why this one change often leads to visible results faster than expected. Welcome to our channel, where we break down real body science in a simple and practical way. If you want clear explanations, honest guidance, and strategies that actually work with your body instead of against it, subscribe now and stay with us for what comes next. Most people are taught the same ideas about belly fat again and again. Eat less, move more, do extra cardio, train your abs harder, cut sugar, cut carbs, sweat more. The message sounds simple and logical, so when belly fat does not move, the first reaction is self-blame. People assume they are inconsistent, lazy, or genetically unlucky. But the problem is not a lack of effort. The problem is that most belly fat advice focuses only on surface actions while ignoring how the body actually decides when to store fat and when to release it. The body does not respond to effort the way people think it does. It responds to signals. And many popular strategies send mixed or even dangerous signals at the same time. That is why someone can eat clean, exercise regularly, and still see the same stubborn fat around the waist month after month. This does not mean the advice is completely wrong. It is incomplete. It leaves out the most important part. Belly fat is not just stored energy. It is closely tied to survival systems in the body. When those systems feel threatened, belly fat becomes protected. When they feel safe, belly fat becomes available for burning. Most people are never told this. They are told to push harder instead. So they push harder and the body pushes back. This creates frustration, exhaustion, and the feeling of being stuck in a loop. If this sounds familiar, it is not a personal failure. It is a predictable response to confusing signals. The biggest mistake people repeat every day is constantly forcing their body into a stress state while expecting it to let go of belly fat. This stress does not always feel emotional. It often looks like discipline: skipping meals, training intensely without enough recovery, cutting calories too low, sleeping less to stay productive, drinking more caffeine to keep energy high. On the outside, this looks like commitment. Inside the body, it looks like danger. When the body senses repeated stress without relief, it switches priorities. Fat loss drops low on the list. Protection rises to the top. Belly fat becomes a shield, not a problem. The mistake is believing that more pressure will force better results. In reality, more pressure often locks belly fat in place. This is the behavior that must stop, not movement, not healthy eating, but the constant pattern of stress signals sent without balance. As long as this pattern continues, the body resists change, no matter how clean the routine looks. Belly fat behaves differently from fat in other areas because it is closely connected to hormones that manage stress, safety, and energy survival. Arms and legs store fat mostly for movement and reserve energy. Belly fat sits near vital organs. The body treats it like an emergency fund. It listens carefully to signals before touching it. Hormones act like messengers. They tell the body whether it is safe to burn fat or smarter to store it. When stress signals are high, the message is simple: hold on, save energy, protect resources. When stress signals drop and stability returns, the message changes: release stored energy, use fat. This process happens quietly and automatically. It does not care about motivation or intention. It only reacts to patterns. Short bursts of stress are normal and healthy. Constant stress without recovery is not. The body cannot tell the difference between physical stress and lifestyle stress. It reads both the same way. This is why belly fat responds so strongly to sleep, food timing, and mental pressure. These signals shape hormone behavior long before calories are counted. When the main mistake continues, the body begins a predictable chain reaction. First, stress hormones rise more often and stay elevated longer. This changes how insulin behaves. Blood sugar control becomes less flexible. The body starts prioritizing quick energy storage. Fat storage increases, especially in the belly. Next, hunger signals become louder and less accurate. Cravings increase, not because of weakness, but because the body wants fast reassurance. Energy levels start swinging. Some days feel fine, others feel drained. Workouts begin to feel heavier. Recovery slows. Fat loss stalls. The effort stays high, but the return gets smaller. This is the moment many people double down. They eat less, train harder, sleep less. The cycle tightens. Stress hormones stay elevated. Belly fat becomes even more protected. The body is not being stubborn. It is being defensive. This is why effort alone does not work. The body does not reward punishment. It responds to signals of balance and safety. When meals are skipped regularly, the body senses uncertainty. When calories are too low for too long, the body senses scarcity. When training intensity stays high without rest, the body senses physical threat. When sleep is shortened night after night, the body senses instability. Each signal alone may seem small. Together they create a constant alarm. Under this alarm, belly fat loss becomes unlikely. Not impossible, but inefficient and slow. People compare themselves to others and feel confused. They see someone else eating more and losing fat faster. The difference is not willpower. It is signaling. One body feels safe, the other does not. Belly fat also reacts strongly to rhythm. Regularity tells the body what to expect. Irregular patterns create uncertainty. Eating at random times, sleeping at inconsistent hours, training without structure. These patterns keep the body guessing. When the body guesses, it chooses safety. Safety looks like fat storage, especially around the belly. This is why extreme plans often backfire. They disrupt rhythm instead of creating it. Consistency beats intensity when it comes to belly fat. Calm beats force. Predictability beats chaos. These ideas are rarely emphasized because they are less dramatic, but they are more effective. The internal effect of the mistake becomes clearer over time. Hormones that should rise and fall smoothly start staying elevated. Hormones that help release fat become less responsive. Muscle tissue becomes harder to maintain. Fat tissue becomes easier to store. The body adapts to survive the environment it thinks it is in. If the environment feels harsh, it becomes conservative. If it feels stable, it becomes flexible. Belly fat reflects this adaptation more than any other area. This is why some people lose weight everywhere except the waist. The body is willing to reduce less protected fat first. Belly fat stays last, it is the final reserve. None of this means people should stop caring or stop trying. It means the approach needs to change. The mistake is not effort, it is the type of effort. Stress-based effort sends the wrong message. Balanced effort sends the right one. When the message changes, the response changes, slowly at first, then more clearly. Hunger normalizes, energy stabilizes, fat loss begins to feel less forced. The body stops fighting back. This is not magic, it is alignment. When actions match biology, results follow more naturally. When they do not, progress feels heavy. Most people never hear this explanation. They are told to push through plateaus instead of understanding them. A plateau is feedback. It is the body saying something is off. Listening to that message is the difference between endless struggle and sustainable progress. Belly fat is not stubborn by accident. It is stubborn for a reason. That reason is protection. When the body no longer feels the need to protect, it no longer holds on as tightly. This shift does not require extreme changes. It requires stopping one damaging pattern and replacing it with a calmer signal. Once that happens, everything else begins to work better, including the habits people already have in place. Alongside the main mistake, there are a few smaller habits that quietly make the problem worse, and most people never connect them to belly fat because they seem harmless on their own. One of them is constant snacking, even when food choices look healthy. Eating small amounts all day keeps the body in a constant fed state, which means fat-burning signals never fully turn on. The body stays busy managing incoming energy instead of using stored energy. Another related habit is relying heavily on caffeine to push through tiredness. Coffee, energy drinks, and strong pre-workouts raise stress signals when used to compensate for poor rest or low food intake. This adds another layer of pressure on the system, even if it feels productive in the moment. A third habit is treating sleep as optional. Going to bed late, waking up early, or changing sleep times daily confuses the body's internal clock. Hormones that regulate hunger, stress, and fat release lose their rhythm. Each of these habits alone may not seem like a big deal. Together, they amplify the same message the main mistake sends. The message that the body is under constant demand. The message that it needs to conserve. The message that belly fat should stay right where it is. The shift does not require removing effort. It requires redirecting it. The main correction is reducing constant stress signals and replacing them with predictable calming ones. This starts with eating in a way that feels regular and sufficient, not extreme, not restrictive, just consistent. Meals spaced in a way the body can learn and trust. When the body knows food is coming, it stops panicking. Supporting this shift means allowing recovery to matter as much as activity. Training hard sometimes is fine. Training hard all the time is not. Rest days are not weakness. They are information. They tell the body it is safe to adapt. Sleep also becomes non-negotiable, not perfect, just steady. Going to bed at a similar time most nights. Waking up without constant alarms when possible. These small adjustments lower background stress without requiring extra motivation. They feel almost too simple. That is why many people overlook them. but simplicity is exactly what the body responds to best. As these changes settle in, the first signs are subtle. Energy becomes steadier across the day. The sharp highs and crashes begin to smooth out. Hunger becomes clearer and less urgent. Cravings lose some of their intensity, not because of control, but because the body no longer feels desperate. The waist may feel less tight. Even before measurements change, bloating reduces. Clothes sit differently. These early signals matter because they show the internal environment is shifting. Fat loss follows internal change, not the other way around. Expecting instant visual results misses the process. The body adjusts internally first, then externally. Trust builds when these early signs appear. That trust makes consistency easier. Consistency makes results more likely. The core message is simple and worth repeating. Belly fat resists force but responds to balance. The warning remains clear. Stop repeating patterns that keep your body in constant stress while expecting it to let go of protection. The control has always been there. It just needed a different direction. At this point, one thing should be clear. Belly fat does not respond to punishment. It responds to signals. When the signal changes, the outcome changes. That means progress is not about trying harder. It is about stopping the one pattern that keeps your body on defense and letting it finally work with you. This single shift can make every other healthy habit more effective. And once you see that change begin, it becomes much easier to stay consistent without forcing it. If this perspective helped you see belly fat differently, let others see it too. Tap like so. This message reaches more people who are stuck in the same loop. Share this video with someone who is doing everything right but still not seeing results. And if you want clear, honest explanations that cut through confusion and hype, subscribe to the channel and stay with us. The next video goes one step deeper, because the next thing you stop might matter even more.